Hey nerds, what's up? I'm so excited. Today is the day that you guys get to see the challenges for the Touching My Shelf Readathon. So in case you missed it, the Touching My Shelf Readathon is going to be running from March 27th to April 1st, and it's all about touching your shelves. So of course, if you don't have a lot of books and you want to utilize the library, go for it. The whole goal is to not have a bunch of ideas in mind and holding and buying and all these things. The goal is to have what's available to you. So Kindle, library, Hoopla technically is the same thing as a library. So if it's available to you, you can use it. I'm also super lax. If you think that you can loophole it into the rules, then go for it. But the goal is to read books off of your shelves so that you can get the TBR on your physical TBR down, or your ebook TBR. Again, do you? I haven't pulled these off my shelves yet because I kind of want to show you where they are. So, first up is an Autobuy author buy that you haven't read yet, or I guess it could be a reread too, but for me, I'm not an Autobuy author. So for me, these are so tight. Okay, so for me, one of my Autobuy authors is Frederick Bachman, and I have bought Us Against You. I bought this from a used bookstore before COVID, or maybe at the very start of COVID, but I bought it. So Us Against You, Frederick Bachman wrote Beartown, which if you've watched my books that have stood the test of time or all-time favorites video, something like that, I'll put it in the description up above, but I talk about Beartown. And because I loved Beartown so much, I saw this also, and I had to have it. So, Us Against You is about the residents of Beartown. So, the residents of Beartown are tough, hardworking people who don't expect life to be easy or fair. They've always been able to take pride in their local ice hockey team, especially when they are victorious over their longtime rivals in the neighboring town of Head. But just when it seems that Beartown ice hockey might be disbanded due to the defection of their best players to Head, the team gets a surprising new coach and a chance at a comeback. I'm interested, especially I really want to know if this book takes place after this one or before it. I wonder which one was written first. Let me see. Can I find the answer to that? So this one, Us Against You, was written in 2018. And Beartown was written in 2016. So this did get written first. So I'm really curious to see if this also takes place post Beartown. Because this book is about a girl who was raped by the head hockey player. And it's all about how everyone in the town reacts to the allegations and who believes her, who doesn't, all of this stuff. And so, curious. So I'm definitely going to be reading that one. And then the next challenge is to finish a series. I'm going to be finishing the Winger series. It's a duology. So I read Winger a long time ago. I think I read this in like 2015 maybe. Let me see, when was it written? This book was written in 2013, and I believe that I read it around that 2015 era. And then Standoff, I haven't read it yet, still, to this day. I'm not planning on rereading this. I think I'm going to go back and see if I can find down in the depths of the MissKlassieKassie land a review or something about this book, even a wrap-up that includes it, because I want like a reminder of what my thoughts on it were. But I'm so excited. I loved Winger a long time ago, and I would reread it if I had the time, but I just don't think I can make that happen. If I can, I'll do it, but we'll see. So, going to be finishing the duology here. The next challenge is to read a book with your favorite color on it. This challenge is so hard for me to do because I don't even know what my favorite color is. Like, people ask that all the time. When I used to be a substitute teacher, that was one of the most common questions. And I don't really know. Like, I like so many colors, and it depends on my mood. I like that deep forest green. I like the dusty rose color, which is where we're going with today. I like that dark red, like burgundy color, purple, like any of this. I love any of this. I love so many colors. Burnt orange, mustard. there's no favorite color, but I'm going with that pink color, and so I'm really scared to read this one, but I'm going to be reading Choker by Elizabeth Woods. This book has been on my shelf, not for as long, but on my TBR for so long. Like, I think since I started BookTube, which was like 8 years ago. So I'm very nervous to read this because I haven't heard the best of things since then. But I can't unhaul it without trying it. And it's not that long, so it works well for a readathon as well. And I'm really nervous that I'm going to hate it after having so much time for it to sit on my TBR. I'm really nervous, but we're gonna read it. What's this book about? Oh yeah, what's Standoff about? Well, Standoff is the second book in a series, so Winger is about a boy named Ryan Dean West, and his life is complicated. He's 14 and a junior at Pine Mountain, which is a boarding school for rich kids. He's stuck rooming with the biggest jerk on the rugby team in the dorm of miscreants and troublemakers, and he's totally in love with his best friend Annie, who thinks of him as a little kid. As he tries to get a handle on school, life, and rugby, he finds himself muddling through a lot of decisions and making some major mistakes along the way. This book also does have trigger warnings for homophobia and like bullying in regards to that. It doesn't happen to our main character, it happens to someone else, but if I remember correctly, there's also like some assaulting, like physical assault, not sexual assault, but some not so great things. I mean, the guy has a bloody nose on the top, but yeah, so it's a sequel to that. Choker, what's this one? 16-year-old Cara Lang has been a loner ever since she moved away from her best friend Zoe years ago. She eats lunch with other girls from the track team and tries to avoid the popular girls who, after an embarrassing incident in the cafeteria, endlessly torturing her, calling her Choker. But mostly she spends her time watching Ethan Gray from a distance, wishing he could finally notice her. One day, Cara comes home to find Zoe waiting for her. She's on the run from problems at home, and Cara agrees to help her hide. Yeah. So, I don't really know. Basically, it's about two girls. Okay. Next challenge is a beautiful spine. Okay, so it could be your favorite color too, but just any sort of beautiful spine. There are so many to pick from. I picked Girls of Paper and Fire. The spine is gorgeous. I just really love this part, which is of course the front as well, but I'm excited for this one. I think this is the most exciting one for me. Girls of Paper and Fire is a fantasy book about a girl named Lay of the paper caste, the lowest class in Ikara, and the like king or emperor, I don't know which, each year he chooses 8 women from the paper caste to basically be concubines for him, but it turns out that she's not in fact a girl of paper, but is truly a girl of fire. And just look at it. It is so pretty. It is so gorgeous. So, definitely going to be reading that one. The next challenge is hype intimidation. So, reading a book that has had either a lot of hype or even maybe a lot of controversy, and you think you want to read it, but you're really scared you're going to be let down or like disappointed in some way. So, I'm going to be reading My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I'm really scared. I'm really nervous for this one. This is a book exploring the psychological dynamics of the relationship between a precocious yet naive teenage girl and her magnetic and manipulative teacher, a brilliant, all-consuming read that marks the explosive debut of an extraordinary new writer. From what I understand, this book is also Own Voices, and the author, I believe, was in a relationship with her teacher when she was young, and the book follows both the time frame of the perspective of the girl when she's 14, as well as years later kind of coming to terms and realizing and recognizing that she was in an inappropriate relationship and was being, what's the word? Groomed by him. I'm really nervous. I've heard really, really great things about this, but I've also heard not so great things about this. And I just don't know what camp I'm going to fall into, but I really want to read it. And it's been on my list for a long time. It's been on my shelf for at least 6 months. It's been on my shelf. But maybe even longer than that. I don't remember. The next challenge is going to be rereading a favorite. I absolutely love to reread my favorite books, so I had to put this one on there. And I'm going to be rereading A Court of Wings and Ruin. I've been making my way through this series reread in preparation for A Court of Silver Flames. Clearly I'm behind. It's been out for over a month now, but I'm excited. I'm excited to read this. I'm excited to get to A Court of Silver Flames too, but like, man, I'm really curious to see in this. I just like hit my throat with the book. I'm really interested to see if I end up liking this more than A Court of Mist and Fury this time around, because A Court of Mist and Fury lived up to the hype just like I thought it would. The question is, will I end up liking this even more this time around? We shall see. I'm definitely going to be reading this on audio for the readathon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find any of the other ones on audiobook, but I'm going to take a look and see. But this one for sure, I think, is on Hoopla, if I remember correctly. So I'll be doing that. The last challenge, which I actually don't have a book yet for it, but it is to have a friend recommend a book from your shelves. We've got the camera out because Matt is going to be my friend.
Yeah, we're friends.
We're friends. The lighting's really bad from right here. The friend who picks out a book from my shelf for me to read. So, okay, go right ahead.
I like black books.
Black?
Yeah.
All right.
And I like stupid names.
Stupid names. Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Dumpling.
I've already read it. You have to pick a different one. That's the only rule.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with Schizo.
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 All right. Read the back for me.
Miles is haunted.
That's it? That's all you're gonna give me?
Haunted by grief at the disappearance of his little brother Teddy. This is depressing.
Yeah, it's about a boy who has schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Undiagnosed at the beginning.
I skipped that one.
Oh, okay.
Too depressing.
Okay.
That's how black books are. They're depressing.
Not all of them. Well, maybe. I'm surprised you're going with black.
Wait. Carnival.
Carnival. It's not called Carnival. It's called Carnival.
Carnival.
Okay, read the flap. It's in the front this time. Yeah.
It's too long.
Just read part of it at least.
Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Sounds depressing.
This one has magic in it.
That's cool. Do that one.
Do that one?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Great. Another big book to put in my list. Well, a rare occurrence these days that Matt will get on my channel, but thanks to Matt, I now have my last book for the TBR. The Touching My Shelf Readathon is happening from March 27th through the 1st, and these are the books that I have to read. Holy shit, that's so many books. Also notice how I still have Christmas presents to give out because COVID. Yeah. All right. So finally gonna get to carve out. I might try to find the audiobook of this one because I know I'm going to do the audiobook of A Court of Wings and Ruin. And maybe 2 audiobooks will be necessary. That'll depend on like what that week looks like because I am off. So depending on like if I decide to do any cleaning. The more cleaning there is, the more audiobook time there is what I noticed. So that's everything for the Touching My Shelf Readathon. Holy shit, this is a lot of books. I'm definitely not gonna reread Ringer because are you kidding me? No. These plus one more that I don't know yet. These are the books I'm planning on reading this week. Why did I do this to myself? There's no fucking way I'll get through all of these, but there's always a goal. And if you don't reach the sun, you'll still stand with the stars, or whatever the fuck that quote is. So, yeah. If you guys make a TBR video, please link it down below because I would love to go and watch your guys' TBR videos for the Touching My Shelf-a-thon. If you're going to be doing any sort of vlogs for it, also feel free to link it down below. I would love to see it. Make sure to follow the Touching My Shelf Readathon's socials as well as my own. They'll all be linked down below. And I'm so excited. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. Okay, I'll see you guys on the 27th for those reading sprints. And until then, talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Bye.